welcome everyone to the European Summit, the industry-leading event that brings together the whole affiliate marketing ecosystem. I'm excited because I'm joined by Vlad here to talk about what I've called the cookie apocalypse. It's the big thing that's looming over everybody. Vlad, hello, how are you?
I'm great. I wish I would be there in person, probably you too, but
Yes.
let's enjoy the event. That's a new sort of normal. I don't know what is worse, cookie apocalypse or all the other things that still going on in the world. But for now, for us as digital marketers, solutions that work with digital marketers and affiliates, cookie apocalypse is a thing that we deal with daily. And of course, you mentioned, and I know the good news, that's about Google. He postponed the big boom by 2 more years. Maybe it will postpone it next time in 2023. I don't know. And so I'm ready to talk actually what is happening, how this apocalypse will impact media buyers. Now, not this year, of course, thanks to Google, slightly late, but still the impact will be huge. And the media buyers need to be prepared. And it's time of changing floor plates in digital marketing. So things will change, and tools that work with digital marketers like trackers will change. So my goal is to just give our viewpoint as a tracker, what will change, how marketers will adapt, and how we as solution will help them adapt. And we'll see if there will be more questions. I'm happy to talk about all those things you mentioned.
Brilliant. So Vlad, tell me a little bit about RedTrack and let's maybe start your presentation.
Yeah, sure. So since I'm talking multiple times on the affiliate summit, I mean, I'll not, and I never talk about RedTrack. It's my goal is, although we are a net tracker and affiliate tracker, we help with attribution and all of other things. My goal today here is to talk more about this cookie apocalypse, what will be the impact, and answer all your questions you might have about the consequences of the change. So without further ado, let me switch to the presentation part, because we now do this all remote, and start talking through the real meat of the content. And when I'll finish, I'll get back here and be happy to answer all your questions. Let's roll. So just as a brief statement, since we'll be going quite technology deep, although try to keep it as simple as possible, one important statement. First of all, it's all about the third-party cookies and first-party cookies. So cookie apocalypse is about third-party cookies. And that's the technology that now powers so many things digital, that we need to be aware what it does and how it impacts. So first-party cookies, surprisingly, can also power most of those things digital, but require much more complex technologies in the backend to make sure all the different data silos can communicate and interoperate. Why the cookie apocalypse is happening now? There are a lot of things that's going on in the digital marketing, between channel saturation to the rise of self-attribution networks, and anybody buying, especially from Facebook, especially before iOS 14, knows what it means. Each of the networks that can get that pixel on your web property will attribute as many conversions as they can. And digital marketing is growing, and it feels a lot of pressure from both regulatory compliance and technology compliance, and the shift from third-party cookies, or let's call it third-party data, to first-party data is not something that started just this year when Google said, you know what, we're not joking about privacy sandbox, or when Apple released iOS 14. It started some time ago, and it goes through like legal regulations, followed by data restrictions, and in the end, it will have the biggest impact on three primary tools that digital marketers or affiliates actually use on the web. That's targeting, with all aspects of retargeting, including remarketing, retargeting, whatever you call it, measurement, and identity. For affiliates, of course, identity plays a lesser role, so we'll talk less about this. But for digital marketing, identity plays a huge role, and it will be rethought and it will be managed in a very different way. So, first of all, thank you, Google, for not blocking third-party cookies, unlike many other browsers did. So they will stay in Chrome till 2023, but they still be gone sometime in the future, and everybody needs to understand what will change. So, first of all, a lot of things in media buying will change. How frequency and reach campaigns operate will change, because without third-party cookies, there are little means to control frequency. Targeting will change. Without third-party cookies, there are less means to collect data, to do remarketing, because third-party cookies can be read from any websites and allowed to catch people. Control and transparency will change, because it's again about the ability to collect and measure data. And of course, there will be a huge impact on websites that are funded by ads, especially websites that mostly sell their traffic through ad networks, because now they will get less access to all those remarketing banners, remarketing clicks, and thus higher payouts. Big sites, I don't know, like Guardian, like major publications, they will still fare well and actually better. Smaller ones will be impacted a lot. And that has more to do with the measurement and affiliate marketing. Surprisingly, ad verification will not change. All your fraud detection, all your quality controls will remain the same, because they don't care about the cookies. And let's say the bots don't have cookies. Now, measurement will not change a lot. Measurement will adapt. What will definitely change, but now, again, thank you, Google, we have 2 more years to enjoy it. View through attribution will be gone. Multi-touch attribution either will be gone unless the companies, especially companies who facilitate multi-touch attribution tracking, will adapt and switch to the first-party data. Same about cross-device attribution. And same even about your regular ad tracking and conversion attribution, where you used to have a pixel. Now you can have a pixel, and what's happened with Facebook is the best example. What was done by Google, and this small message that a lot of people have not noticed, what Google Analytics is switching to first-party cookies, is another example. Tracking and attribution will be gone. What it actually means for digital media buyers. What will happen? They will have to switch to leveraging first-party data. And actually, this will require slightly different tools and slightly different capabilities. If they are deep into customer journey tracking, cross-device attribution, cross-campaign attribution, they will also need to apply this first-party data and all those interoperabilities with other tools to rethink and reapply all those identity-based solutions. And when the remarketing will be gone, when this granular targeting based on age, gender, what have you will be gone, we'll be back to different ways of targeting, something we did 15 years ago. I mean, interest-based targeting, or you'll just target by data from specific publisher who has their own first-party data and will be able to show your ads to a particular audience based on their data, not on the one you own. So again, switch to first-party data, rethinking the tools behind identity measurement, and interoperability between all the platforms based on matching this first-party data in a way similar like now all the programmatic solutions matching their cookies. So since we talk a lot about this first-party data, first-party cookies, what it actually means. Again, this is another important statement. And it means a lot. First, That's it's not, again, only about cookies. It's about the data that is owned by the marketers. And it can be their own website performance, app performance, CRM data. This is the data that is sort of acquired because it's generated outside of their system, but can easily be connected with their own data. That's the paid ads data, that's affiliate performance data, referral performance data, search campaigns data, and you start to build different layers of this data that the marketer can own. And then what will naturally happen is that they will want to enrich this data, doing like cross-device attribution, quality checking, traffic modeling. Okay, what of those clicks actually good quality, like predicting the results. And again, this ends up in their data silos, in their own data, and helps them make better media buying decisions. And same can be applied to user modeling, which user is more likely to convert. Before, or even now, it happens on the outside. Now, marketers will have to create the conduits and exchange data between different systems, usually anonymously, either on aggregated level or on a customer level. I bet there will be more anonymized sharing than non-anonymized, but who knows? At least this one, anonymized customer level, is safe to do. And even now, if you'll talk about Facebook Conversion API or Google Enhanced Conversion Upload, it's based on the customer level anonymized data where you provide hashed or coded, unreadable first names, last name, email. So it's not that you can identify a specific person, but two systems, for example, your CRM and Facebook attribution system, can match the specific user using this anonymized customer level data. So that's what will happen. Suddenly, instead of using multiple platforms, marketers will have to create their own data storage that has all the data they own in one place. And this will be a huge challenge for big companies do it now. Honestly, they have the resources, they have the technology, they have the data warehouses to collect, process, handle this data. They hire data scientists, a lot of people. Now, what about affiliate marketers, mid-market companies, small, medium business? They will need to rely on the tools, and that's where the ad trackers will have to step in. By the nature of their operations, they will do two things to support the transition from third-party cookie world to first-party data world. They will switch to first-party data. And by default, we'll be using first-party cookies versus third-party cookies. They will do now, but it actually entitles more. It's like working with offline conversions, working with different channels of data enrichment. And, which is more importantly, this will force them to switch to server-to-server data communications. So no more pixels, you'll have scripts. Scripts and webhooks and APIs and data matching tables will ensure that systems communicate between each other and collect the first-party data of the users. And this creates a very interesting choice that different solutions that are on the market will have to make coming 2 years. Actually, it was 6 months, but now, like I said, 2 years. Although, in my opinion, since a lot of browsers already blocking third-party cookies and can be up to 25% of traffic for some geos between Firefox, iOS 14, some other browsers, it's the issue that cannot be ignored. Even now, there is no time to wait 2 more years. Unless you have adapted to this, you better start doing now. When you're paid for conversions, you want to be paid for 100% conversions, and you don't buy that, you know what, we cannot track 25% of traffic because Safari is blocking third-party cookies, or Firefox is blocking third-party cookies. So for me, cookie apocalypse happened or start to unfold 3 years ago. And what will be this choice for trackers and the first-party data they collect on behalf of their customers? This will be very simple. They will either specialize or generalize, because I just listed here all type of tracking that happens, like Facebook tracking or generic ad tracking, affiliate tracking, partner tracking, influencer tracking, referrals, coupons, calls, funnels, customer journey, and actually I can carry on this list. I just had 10 points here in the slide. That's on the one hand, all those acquired first-party data, and on the other hand, 3 simple things: conversions, and basically the attribution of those conversions to specific actions across all those trackings based on first-party data and based on server-to-server data exchange. And all the trackers would go one of the 2 ways: either deliver a very focused solution, specializing in some specific, I don't know, Facebook, or influencers, or funnels, or calls, or they will go a very generic way and will start to replace the tools like Google Analytics. And the reason it will be happening just because it will be forced onto trackers by that switch to the using first-party data. As the systems are getting more complex, more integrated, why not use the opportunity and scale to provide a bigger solution? It's not the need of trackers in the end. That's, in our opinion, are the needs of marketers. And me, in the past, being digital marketer for many years, I can sign to each and every phrase on this slide. It's like marketers have a state of nirvana. It's when they have unified, standardized measurement across all their media buying and conversion activities to plan, buy, analyze, and attribute of their advertising, whether paid, acquired, or free. And they turn to the circle, and surprisingly, ad trackers can support data ingestion, optimization, of course measurement, of course attribution. Being integrated as first-party sources of data, they also facilitate planning for media buying, creative ad serving for like remarketing, for content-based targeting, for audience exchanges. So like they are becoming the tools that would power digital marketing decisions in 2 years from now. How? Just by assuming they collect data from all the steps of the bigger funnels, from impressions to offline conversions. And this is what everybody does now. But in the end, any ad tracking solution can become this silo of the first-party data of the whole funnel of the digital marketing, from impression to offline conversion, and allow measurement and attribution across consistent set of KPIs and interoperability across all the other actors in the digital marketing space without the need to build your own platform. And like I said, bigger companies can allow to do it themselves. Mid-market, small, medium business marketers will be looking for the solutions, and all the tracking and attribution solutions that are available right now, there are dozens of them, have a great chance to use those 2 years to turn into something that you have on this screen. That's it. I think I'll give more value now by answering the question. So thank you for your time. I'm back to the full screen mode, and I'm ready to get all the questions.
Cool. Now, Vlad, given that we've got 2 years and we've got a few other things that are playing out, what would you say if you had to start tomorrow? Would I start? Where would I begin? What's the first thing I should do tomorrow to get myself ready? Where would I go?
I would just start with the audit of the whole technology stack you are using to power digital marketing, and see how each, because right now all the companies, even for the digital marketing part, they use dozens of solutions. So start now understanding how they leverage data, what type of data they leverage, how they plan to communicate 2 years from now, if you're planning to use those tools 2 years from now, and are they ready for the switch? Because some obvious changes has happened already, like Facebook switched to Facebook Connection API, and just a matter of time when Pixel will be gone completely. Google Analytics switched to first-party cookies data. Okay, that's clear. And that's how you start to audit your technology, I can say stack, like all the tools you use, and see if you have any weak spots. If you have any weak spots, address them with the providers of the technology or solution now, and see if they have a plan for the next 2 years. Second thing I would do is that I actually look into the amount or types of traffic you deal with. Because if you deal a lot with Safari or Firefox traffic, it's like 15, 20, maybe 50% of your funnel. The cookie apocalypse happened for this right now. And to ask a question, do you have all the proper tracking in place? This will be the first starting point. And then, since we don't have to rush, we have 2 years, let the market develop. The next year we'll see a boom of solutions, slightly delayed because nobody will rush now, like Red Track will not rush. We plan to do some things by September. Now we have slightly more time. We'll take this time to like make them better and then show to the customers, because we got this 2-year break. And also we'll untable some of the things we have tabled, like post-view attribution, because we now have 2 years to use it. So give market some time to provide these solutions and replace those parts of your technology stack that is not ready or is not suiting your needs. But now, the best part, you don't have to rush unless you run, I don't know, either like Safari traffic. And again, I'm talking about the web, whether display web or mobile. App world is very different. I'm no expert, and I'll just leave this aside.
Okay, so it seems that we're working as web consultants, or the web industry, to make it as difficult as possible for people to advertise. So I run an ad blocker. I have done for many years now, since they were available. I have iOS 14, and every time I've blocked Facebook now, and I've blocked all sorts of others. I mean, as we talk about, third-party cookies are going to become now redundant. Is it a time? I work in a slightly different world to you, Vlad. I work in a world where we're looking at podcasting and audio. One of the things that's happening now is Apple has very much jumped on the privacy bandwagon, and they're saying subscriptions is the way forward for podcasters, and we're beginning to see what I call a flight to quality, where people are beginning to pay for Medium, they're beginning to pay for Twitter Blue, access to Twitter without ads. Are we moving to a world, do you think, are we slowly moving to a world where advertising is not the means of reaching the customer, but there will have to be other means, or is this going to be replaced, is cookies going to be replaced by another means of making sure that adverts are targeted?
Well, you ask two questions in one, because I think that advertising will follow the trend that is happening with the web right now. So I am lucky maybe to be internet user. It's like typing first URL address 1997, I guess. So it's all things, how they happened, evolved, and then devolved. And I'm doing digital marketing since year 2000. And what I can say is that the web seen exponential growth, but it also gave the power of voice, let's say, to everybody. And what happened is that instead of voice, we got tons of noise. And same for advertising. Instead of like quality websites that people would use to spend time on, we now got tons of signals, very discrete attention. And to catch the attention of the people, you actually need to have that remarketing, because you don't even know where the person will jump on next 5 seconds. You want to push this creative everywhere, and it also led to a huge intrusion to privacy. I did my share of programmatic. I can tell you we were able to show person's first name in the browser, in the ad. Hey, John, this is the banner for you. We never did this because, I know, it would scare people off. But the level of intrusion into the privacy of people was huge. And between the saturation of noise across all those channels and between the saturation of intrusion to privacy, the web is like making a next circle. Okay, we need to wipe out as much noise as possible or isolate that noise. Good, TikTok, fine. You want to scroll through, amazing. Some good piece of content or just spend your time scrolling. And it actually gives power back to content creators. Because if you produce quality content, people would consume it. People would actually subscribe and pay you money. If you just create noise to grab as much attention, those banners and that quick advertising dollars, sorry, you'll be out of business. And for me, I think that's, of course, dramatic and maybe traumatic change for some businesses, especially built around all those clickbait websites. But for the web ecosystem as a whole, it's a good change because there will be slightly less noise and slightly more quality content. And the best part is that those bigger websites, quality content producers, they will have the means to collect consent and data from their audience, synchronize, and that's what it was talking about, this data with the media buying providers, and allow the same level of advertising to an extent. That's the good part. The questionable part is that the biggest owners of the first-party data would be Google, Facebook, Apple, maybe Amazon. The guys just building those walled gardens with higher walls, making them even more difficult to penetrate. And that's also the reality everybody needs to understand. And just because Google realized that if they put this wall that high right now, even bigger players would not have sufficient time to adapt, and industry may collapse, the advertising revenue may collapse. So hey, let's give a break. Say with Apple, they wanted to roll out iOS 14 changes in October last year. I bet a lot of people said, Apple, be smart. Let us finish Black Friday, Christmas, all those holiday season, and then do what you want to do. And that's what they did. They rolled it out after the holiday season so that they can let all those advertising dollars to flow. So nobody will kill advertising. It's just sadly it will kill smaller players who will not be able to plug into this first-party data infrastructure. And now Google is giving more time to bigger players to plug in properly, not to lose the money. It's like, consider Facebook. Facebook was banning like affiliates left and right. It's not that they were losing a lot of revenue in Facebook space. It's tragedy and pain for all the media buyers because they have dozens of business managers, hundreds of ad accounts just to keep running ads. Facebook would care less. They have machine learning. They have system. They run the system. And as you mentioned, Apple, I think I'm not, again, digital gadgets analyzer, but I think Apple iPhones reached some sort of plateau in terms of getting more market share. But the company needs to grow, so let's enter the advertising. We have audience, we have first-party data. Let's monetize this. So Apple will become the player, or is becoming the player in digital advertising right now. We'll see how it will go. So that's my take on your question. It's the change in the whole internet as, I mean, a cultural phenomenon or a technology phenomenon, part of our everyday life. And it will become cleaner. The walled gardens will have higher walls. The advertising will remain where it is. The smaller players will be gone because those walls will be higher. So that's my take on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, Apple are about to do the same with iOS 15, though. They're starting to say now that they're going to remove tracking in newsletters. So no longer will we be able to know whether somebody's opened up a newsletter or if they've received the newsletter. I mean, what impact do you think that's going to have when iOS 15 rolls out? And we know one of the things that Apple's very good at, unlike Android, is actually getting the existing install base to upgrade to the latest version. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts there, Vlad?
My thoughts there will be the same as I mentioned in the management, except the fact that post-view attribution is gone. And post-view is not only about impressions, it's about newsletters, it's about all your contacts with the audience. You will not know, oh, actually, you will know like the delivery. You will probably know the opens, but you will not be able to match this data precisely to a specific person who opened the newsletter. You will still have the clicks. So we'll get back to the time when you had to craft message. Well, you have to craft messages now still, but it will be even more important to make sure that people interact with your content, provide some additional signals that happen on your web properties that you can connect to the communication channels. And I remember the times when the creatives had 2 or 3 or 5% CTI, it was okay, like nobody bothered. Now it sounds like something fantastic, just because people click on the creatives more. It's just the number of ads saturated so much, and if you click 10 more times on the same ads, the average industry CTRs are like 100% lower. So same for newsletters. People will read them, people will consume content, but the quality will win and allow all those tools to keep generating leads. Just mess something. Okay, those 6 guys opened. Now I will follow them up with something else. Will not work.
Okay, so it'll be interesting to see when that happens. One of the biggest challenges that I've noticed as a marketeer is the retargeting ads. What are the implications there on retargeting? Because half the retargeting ads are a waste of time and money, it feels. I've often bought the item that they are trying to retarget me with by the time I'm reaching. The only company that seems, I think, to have a solution to this will be Amazon, because actually Amazon will know through the fact that I've signed in, they've provided me with an ad, because Amazon's the second biggest ad network in the planet, and they will know I've made the purchase from them. So they could stop the retargeting by knowing that I've gone through the journey of purchase. But many retargeting ads just appear on the internet on multiple pages because they know I've looked at the product, but they don't know I've purchased the product. How can we fix that solution, or what will happen?
And that's exactly what was about the noise versus quality signal. Because when retargeting is so cheap and accessible with those third-party cookies, everybody cares just to get as many of your ads as possible because it's super cheap.
Yeah.
And people would not care about you as a person because you purchase these ads. I don't know, 100 other people have not. So yeah, you'll see, you'll ignore, and we'll still get in those 99 other people. Surprisingly, when we're getting to using first-party data that will be synchronized between the systems, it will mean that if you made a purchase, there will be a very clear way for the digital marketer using the system to notify the platform that serves those ads that the purchase has happened.
Mm-hmm.
And because now the ad will be triggered not by the cookie, because should you finish the purchase, be a diligent person, go inside your browser, find that cookie, delete this cookie, you'll not see the ads. now the system will delete those third-party cookies for you, and the communication will happen between the platforms. You'll make the purchase, and smart platforms will notify the providers of ads that, this purchase has happened. Let's send part of the person at least with those ads for the next 6 days. Cool. And smart systems, I'm not sure if run those or not, we built such a thing, would actually, whenever purchase happens, actually place another cookie in your browser that will prevent ads from being shown to you for the next X days. But again, since this creates extra complexity to the systems, extra complexity to all the retargeting, nobody would do it. I mean, it works. We switch to first-party data, make sure that systems are synchronized, will be a part of the setup, and it will work better. So that's my take on it.
Okay. Now, one last question, because we're fast running out of time.
Okay.
I just decided to go onto the Daily Mail website, which is one of the worst sites on the planet for the number of tracking and ads it's trying to place. What will happen post the apocalypse? Will they be allowed to track me as much? It was 150 ads and tracking on their homepage, just on their homepage alone.
Okay, so Daily Mail is, I cannot speak right now about the UK privacy regulations, but some time ago, according to GDPR, you actually have to give them the right to run all those tracking cookies.
And I've never done that.
Meaning that if they keep running those cookies, they are violating your rights, and the watchdog will slap them hard sooner or later. And the fines are, the whole purpose of our GDPR is make fines so dramatic that people don't want to try if it will, like, can I do it or can I not do it? So if you don't give a consent, if you don't sign in, they, according to at least legal compliance, should not be able to track you. Now, if they will keep doing this, they don't need all those third-party cookies, because they can put their own cookie first party that will not be blocked unless you do it on purpose, and still synchronize part of the data. But of course, and now their task will be much, much more challenging. That's the same I mentioned to you as the websites that monetize through ad networks. Without third-party cookies, they will not be able to sell all those remarketing, targeted campaigns. They will need to sell the audience. And now you'll see probably the car ads in the car section, some other types ads in the some other types section, because people will start buying ads long school, like it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And you won't see all those pop-ups on the front page unless it will be something like Coke, because Coke just shows ads to everybody.
Right. Now, we're fast running out of time. We've got about a minute to go, Vlad, but I've got one question. One of the worst things of GDPR was the fact that suddenly every time I went to every website, I was asked permission. I had to grant permission. It made the user experience completely awful. Are we going to see that 10 times worse with cookies when they go?
No, it will be the same. Probably less, because there will be no third-party cookies and less the checkboxes to check from. It's like, can we collect your data anonymously? Yes, no, boom.
Okay.
So it will be easier.
Maybe that's better. Look, Vlad, please tell everyone where they can get hold of you if they want to find out more information about what you're doing.
Yeah, just search for RedTrack. It's here on the screen. Ping us. I'll be happy to answer all the questions. And we have YouTube channel. We're doing bi-weekly streams talking about all things digital, attribution, affiliate marketing. So they can find me also there. Join, ask questions. We're always happy to talk.
Vlad, thank you so much. Great information. Everyone, check out redtrack.io.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
day one, Crack Revenue's tagline has been, "Follow the whale." 10 years later, it's truer than ever. Unlike most CPA networks, we test all of our top offers using our designers, media buyers, and analysts to make sure the funnel is working and that the offer is more than profitable. Then we share the recipe with our affiliates. Simply put, Crack Revenue is made for affiliates by affiliates. It's the whole idea behind Follow the Whale. That way, everybody wins.